Good morning, everyone who's joined the call. I'm just going to give it a second to catch any last minute joiners here. I'm Scott Hamilton. Thanks for coming on. Okay, it's 12 o'clock. I'm going to get started. I'm sure there'll be a couple more people coming in, but we'll just let them in as we go. Thank you all for showing up on time. I appreciate that. Let's uh, let's jump in. So thanks for coming. This is going to be all about um, niche marketing and niche markets for financial advisors. Um, if you were here for something else, then we're not going to do that today. We're just doing niche today. So, kind of jump in. As I said, I'm Scott Hamilton. I've been in this coaching business with Pareto for about 10 years now. Uh, I'm certified by Pareto as well as a couple other coaching organizations. And I currently coach about 30 teams right now throughout the country, many of them who are in niches, many of them in very successful niches. And so I wanted to talk about that today. So here we go. What's the opportunity? For those of you who are not in a niche, or you're in a niche sort of or halfway, maybe you know this, but the idea is the more specialized, the more you can differentiate yourself, and the easier you can differentiate yourself in a market that's getting, more and more crowded. My experience is niche advisors grow much faster. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a case study. So I got people still joining here. Um, but my own personal experience working in niches over the years tells me that it's just once you're focused on a niche, you can grow way faster than if you're just trying to be a generalist. The good news is, for those of you on the call, only a few advisors really specialize effectively in niches. But top performing advisors, and this is Pareto has seen this over and over again. We've coached hundreds of advisors in Pareto systems. And one of the things that is absolutely, clear is that advisors who focus on niches, and that can mean a lot of different things, but advisors who focus in niches are much more successful. So the goal here for today is to talk about this, help you maybe think about how to pick a niche, how to dominate in that niche, and really more importantly, because I can't really do that in one session, we're talking about building a mastermind group, a community here, group coaching program, and I'll talk in more detail about that as we go. So for anybody who's really interested in doing this, seriously, you might want to consider this mastermind group that we're starting. That'll start in, I think, middle of November. So about a month. Okay. What does mastermind coaching do for you? Let's just talk about that briefly. First of all, you'll come out knowing your profitable niche inside and out. Okay, I'm going to talk about a couple of case studies where you see this is actually happening. But I have seen advisors who go into a niche. Maybe it's not quite right. Maybe it's not quite profitable. Maybe they go in halfway. Want to make sure that those advisors who join this mastermind group coming out know exactly, crystal clear, what their niche is. They know that it's profitable and they know how to use it to their advantage. I want to make sure you come away from your mastermind group with a clear value proposition. Okay, something that is going to appeal and attract those clients that you want to work with. Okay, and then I say this somewhere else in the presentation, but I want to make sure you can actually use it. You know how to use it, where to use it. Because the value proposition, I mean, I'm guessing everybody on this call has created a value proposition at least once in their career and probably multiple times. And if your experience is similar to mine, it hardly ever gets used. It sounds good at the time, but hardly ever gets used. And one of the key things I want to make sure you do is stay accountable to using your value proposition all the time. That's when it's effective. Uh, I want you to have a marketing system that attracts your people, the people who are in your niche. So no generic marketing. I mean, I see tons of generic marketing for financial advisors, and I'll admit generic marketing is better than no marketing. but a marketing system that's targeted to the right people, way more effective, way better use of dollars. I want you to build a reputation as the go-to advisor in your specialty, whatever it is. It doesn't matter. And you can do it. Like a lot of advisors are worried about this, but I'm telling you, other advisors have created, carved out a niche for themselves in some part of the business that really appeals to them. You can do it too. And then obviously, I want you to grow your revenues faster with less stress. I mean, Pareto's basic promise for Pareto Systems is more time, more money. And I've seen it happen over and over again with people who have gone through Pareto, whether it's one-on-one coaching, self-study, whether it's mastermind groups. I've seen people really pull this off over and over again. And again, if you're willing to work at it, I know you can do it too. Okay, so what's the problem that we see in niche marketing? Uh, or what do we see with generally with trying to be a generalist? No clear growth strategy. I don't know if this has happened to anybody, but a lot of the clients I coach say, well, I think I'm going to get some business, but I have no idea where it's going to come from. Okay, that's not a clear growth strategy, and you can definitely change that. Generic marketing, low visibility, we've talked about this already. A little more detail on this. I mean, I have clients who are in niches or think they're in niches or have said they're in niches. Um, for example, I work with a group of divorce financial advisors. Okay. And in many, many cases, you look at their marketing and they're not talking about women going through divorce or people going through divorce. They're talking about what's happening in the market. They're talking about the fact that it's Groundhog Day. Again, probably this is awareness marketing better than no marketing, but it's generic and it's not appealing to the client and it's not appealing to the prospect thereafter. So targeting your market really, I mean, it's a huge advantage, but nonetheless, I usually see generic marketing. It doesn't have to be much more work to be targeted. Capacity issues, weak problems. When you're a generalist, you're dealing with somebody who's retiring one day, maybe somebody who's going through a divorce the next day, maybe somebody's selling a business the next day. When you're in a niche, you can have a system that's repeatable over and over and over again. In fact, many of the advisors that I work with who are successful in niches, I mean, they've got people in their office and their businesses who run pretty much 90% of the business. They just do the parts that they want, right? And they can do that because it's systematic. It's the problems are the same. Uh, the issues are always the same. They're repeatable. We see them over. We get really, really good at solving them, and we can train easily other people to solve them. Okay, here's another one, imposter syndrome. What is that? That's people who are worried if they're good enough to be in a niche. You know, maybe there's somebody else in your community that's like the divorce lawyer or the person who deals in pharmaceuticals or executive benefits or whatever, and you're like, I could never be them. But you can be. And the sooner you elect a niche and start to dig in, the sooner you build that expertise. And you'll build it much quicker in a niche than you ever will as a generalist. So the imposter syndrome will go away. And then probably the biggest problem I see with people in picking niches is this last one, fear of missing out. I hear it over and over again. Advisors will ask me, can I have two or three niches? Two or three niches. And the answer is, of course you can, but it won't be as effective, right? How many niches do you have before you're back to being a generalist? The more focused you can be, the faster you're going to succeed in your niche. And you'll still pick up some, you'll still pick up brothers and sisters or parents or kids of good clients. You'll still pick those people up. And if you want to work with them, feel free. But you will have, if you're serious about this, you will succeed in a niche that you pick, and you'll have plenty of clients coming to you from that niche. You don't have to worry about missing out on some other deal. Okay, this is a one case study, quick one. This is a divorce advisor who was working in divorce. Again, you looked at her website, you could never tell. There was a big corporate picture on the front. There was all sorts of stuff about investing and, nothing to do with divorce. The marketing was a lot of it was on LinkedIn, some of it was on Facebook. And again, same thing, very generic, not targeted. Systems, processes, kind of a mess. Okay. Once we started focusing in on really anchoring this practice in divorce, the marketing became clear, right? The messages start to become clear because we know what the problems are. So we can easily target, our marketing to those people who are listening, to those people who are looking for an advisor who can really help them. This advisor has really, I mean, in a couple of years, they have gone from random referrals to 2 to 3 new clients a month, good clients. This is a $2 million minimum practice, and that's 2 to 3 new clients who meet that minimum or exceed it pretty much every month. And again, this advisor is doing really what they want to do in this business, which is be with people. The rest of the business operates pretty much without them. Again, you don't have, that doesn't have to be you. You can, I have advisors who love more of the technical side of the business. Pick that, pick whatever you want. You can structure your business to handle all aspects of whatever your niche is, except for the things that you love to do. Okay, when you're picking a niche, basically 5 steps that I think about. Most important, define your niche. Okay, I've got a worksheet for this. I've got a process for helping you do this, but define your niche. That's number one. Number two, organize. Get organized with systems and processes. And this is all kinds of systems and processes. And again, because our mastermind is aligned with Pareto Systems, you already have access to all of the Pareto Systems templates, tools, everything that's been developed over the years to help you get organized. You have my experience helping lots and lots of advisors get organized, build systems and processes. You don't have to do this on your own. Next, create a client fit process. Okay. If you're serious about your niche, you're exclusive. Okay. You heard me talk about somebody in the last slide with a $2 million minimum. Okay. That's a niche. Not all niches are like I play golf or I work with divorced people or I work with pharmaceuticals or I work with owners of Pizza Huts. I mean, some niches can be, financial if you want it to be. I work with high net worth clients. Some of you, some of you on the phone, I know, and you know that I built a niche working in high net worth with people who had $50 million or more in net worth. That's 50 million. And I started without any $50 million clients. Okay. But I just kept doing what I'm talking about here. I kept being exclusive and I got business. And I built a whole business working with high net worth people. I mean, I worked hard at it, but I got what I worked for. And I know if you focus on fit, if you focus on exclusivity, people will be attracted to that. Okay, next, market your niche with clarity. We've talked about this already. It's critical. A lot of people are wasting their marketing dollars. Okay, they're just, if you look online, maybe some of you are doing this, right? You're celebrating holidays and you're, all these things that marketing companies are coming up with. I'm not against it. It's not terrible, but to me, it's not focused on the people that you want to reach. So it's not really great use of your dollars. And then finally, building strategic partners, okay? Who is it in your niche who's an influencer? Who do you need to build a relationship with in order to be successful in this niche? Okay, and every niche has strategic partnership possibilities. It's not just the old lawyers, CPA type of thing, right? Once you identify some niches that you might want to go into, next step is to think about who could I build a strategic partnership with who's also in this niche. I'm going to give you a funny example. I play the guitar. Some of you know that. And a couple months ago, a local guitar club called me up. It's mostly retired guys here in St. Pete, Florida, and asked me if I'd come do a program for them. And so I did. I went over there and I told them what I did, like for my day job, that I coach financial advisors. 3 of them came up. There was probably 20 people there. 3 of them came up while I was at the meeting, asked them if I'd talk with them about their finances. Okay. You can make a niche in guitar clubs. Okay. I know that sounds crazy, but you could do it. Right? There's guitar clubs all over the country. Okay, anyways, enough about guitar, even though I love guitars. You see my point, right? I could build strategic partnerships just with a guitar and build a financial planning business because, people who love guitars, people who can afford a $5,000 or a $10,000 guitar, they've got some discretionary income. They could be good clients. Okay, I'm going to dive in a little bit. First pillar, identify your niche. Be crystal clear who you serve. Now, you can see we've got some examples here. This comes from the worksheet that we use in this program, and it's got more detail. But if anybody wants it, I'm not trying to keep it a secret. If anybody wants it, just shoot me an email. I'll send it to you. Um, Life event niches. Okay, what are these? These are when things happen: divorces, okay, marriages, retirements, um, illnesses, sicknesses, deaths. All these are life event type niches. So I work with a guy in Florida who his niche is wealthy widows. Okay, that's his niche. So what's the life event? The death of the husband. Okay, that's his niche. Okay, professional industry niches. We're going to talk about one of those in just a minute, but you can all think about that, right? I specialize in physicians, or I specialize in accountants, or I specialize in senior partners at international law firms, right? That could be a professional example. Wealth profile, I talked about that earlier. In my own example, you had to have $50 million to get in the door. Some of you may not believe that I said this, but I get calls from some of my strategic partners. Hey, I've got a client with 30 million. Can you talk to them? My answer always was, I can talk to them, but I can't take them as a client. Okay, which may sound unbelievable, but it's what made me exclusive and it's what made me attractive to people with at least 50 million. So I worked with families that had half a billion. I worked with one family that had a billion and everywhere in between. But I never took a client on under 50 million. Okay, and that's really important. So once you're in here, stick to your guns. Lifestyle, social niches, golf, boating, um, guitar clubs, art societies, symphonies, um, and anything you can think of. And the way that I think about, everybody should think about at least one lifestyle or social niche as they're going through this worksheet. Think about what you do, what you love, how you spend your time. Is there a possibility of turning that into a niche? And in many cases, there is, right? Okay, purpose-driven niches. I'm not gonna talk about that right now. Um, yeah, in fact, I'm not gonna talk about the rest of these. These are, if you're interested in any of these, you can see the worksheet. Like I said, I'm happy to send it to you. Okay, but the first thing you want to do is identify 2 or 3 niches. Okay, that's the first step. Second step is to think about, are any of these profitable? Is there an opportunity here to run a successful business? Are there enough clients in this niche or enough prospects in this niche? Are there good strategic partners that I could team up with? Is there a good quid pro quo type of an offer where I can help them, they can help me? Okay, so there's more to it than just picking one thing and saying, I'm doing this, right? But this is how I would start. Pick 2 or 3 or 4, maybe 4 at the most, and then start doing some testing. Like think about talk to your clients who are in these niches. Like if you have divorced women clients, go talk to them. What's attractive about what you do to them? Who else do they know who's going through a divorce? Do they know other people who's going through a divorce? Who would they use for a lawyer? Would they be willing to make an introduction to their lawyer so you could go talk to them? Right? You see what I mean? It's like once you start going into this, you can start to expand and think about what's the real opportunity in this niche. And of course, if you're in the mastermind group, I'm going to help you do that. You're going to hear what others are doing. They're going to give you ideas because that's what a mastermind group does. Okay, this is one of my favorite examples of a successful niche. So this is an advisor I worked with, I don't know, 6 years ago, 7 years ago. We're still in touch, but I don't coach him anymore. He had a pretty good practice, general practice, but he wanted to focus in a niche and he had no idea what to do. He says, I don't have any clients who are in a definable niche that I can tell. And we looked, and sure enough, I mean, he had mostly retirees and pre-retirees, and they worked everywhere, and they were pretty much just good savers. And he's like, I don't really see anything in common. So one day he called me up and he says, I think I might have found something. And I said, what is it? He said, I just talked with this guy who's a salesman for this company in town. Pretty good sized company, lots of salespeople. I mean, it's like a national company based in his town. He said, this guy, he came to me, he says, I don't know anything. He says, I don't know anything about taxes. I don't know anything about our company benefits. I don't know if I should be investing outside of the company plans. I don't know what I should be doing. So he said, I think I can make a niche in this company. I said, okay, cool. How are you going to do it? He had a fantastic idea. It's a big corporate building. On the first floor, as is the case in many of these buildings, there was a restaurant. It was a Mexican restaurant. He says, I'm going to do Taco Tuesday. I'm going to ask my client, this guy became a client, if there's any other salespeople who don't understand the benefits, don't understand if they should invest, don't understand what they're doing with their 401ks and all this, is ask him if he would bring them to a Taco Tuesday for lunch. I'll set out some tacos. I'll arrange a little area. I'll answer questions. I'll do a little presentation. So he did this. It's like every week. He started then getting some of the executives. He got almost the whole sales department, and not just the local sales department, but he started getting calls from other parts of the country. Then he got some of the executives. Then he got the head of human resources, which was like a gold mine, because she started saying to the new employees, look, after you get settled, there's a guy who does Taco Tuesday. You might want to go talk to him. Okay. So, I mean, this turned into a gold mine for him, and it became so easy, and you can imagine why, right? Because almost all these employees have exactly the same benefits. Many of them had 401ks from their private companies that they could move over right away. He got to know the benefit plans. He got to know what the options were, and he became a real expert. So he built a whole process around this and basically just showed up to do Taco Tuesday. Then he would meet with clients and then he would turn them over to his team, who basically would run the process from that point on. Okay, it's a fun example, cool, came out of nothing, came from a guy who had absolutely no idea what his niche was, and it's just been incredibly successful. Okay, pillar two, get organized. Okay, I've talked about process. It's critical. Okay, you want a process that's built around solving the problems that your niche clients have. So if you're in divorce, it's a certain set of problems. If you're dealing with corporate execs, it's a certain set of problems. If you're dealing with pre-retirees and post-retirees in their 5 years before and after retirement, they've got a different set of problems, right? I'm not really nuts about that niche. I think it's a little too broad, but in any event, you get my point. You understand the problems that these clients have, and then you build your processes around that. Do they need a financial plan every year? I mean, once somebody hits retirement, once you figured out distribution, do we really need that kind of intense planning update every year? Maybe we do, maybe we don't. I don't know. Maybe for other people where they're growing in their careers and their salaries are going up every year and their benefits are going up every year, their stress is going up every year, their desire to retire early is going up every year. Maybe they need a different set of services. Maybe they need more intense services. Maybe you need to become an expert in contracts and negotiation as they're thinking about moving to a new position, and how do they negotiate benefits at the new place to replace benefits they're losing. I mean, you guys know this stuff better than I do, right? But you get what I'm saying. Is the idea is to create processes that are repeatable and that are attractive and solve the problems of your niche. You also want to create advocacy processes. Okay, this is like table stakes Pareto systems. Okay, creating an advocacy process that turns your niche clients into advocates for you. So in other words, they become your strategic partners. They're looking out for other people in their niche who need your help. Okay, so whether it's Guitar Club where somebody says, man, you got to talk to Scott, or it's this company with the Taco Tuesday, you've got to go downstairs and have tacos and at least hear what this guy has to say, right? You've got to have a repeatable advocacy process, because your clients can be your best source of niche referrals, whatever your niche is. They're constantly running into other people in that niche. That's the whole definition of a niche, right? And if they're happy with what you're doing, they're talking about with other people. Okay, craft your value proposition statement. This is basically 4 parts. I'm going to just give it to you quick, but it's recorded, so if you want to come back to it. First of all, who do you work with? Okay, this comes back to what's the niche? Who's your ideal client? Who do you work with? What are their problems? What do you do for them? How do you solve those problems? And why do you do it? Okay. People are always interested in what your motivation is for helping them. Of course, it's money, right? We all work, we all want to make money, but why else do we do this? Like, I go to Guitar Club because I like the guys that hang around. I like to see other really cool guitars. I like to play guitars with people in a group. It's fun. Okay. I'd go there anyways. I mean, I do go there anyways because I'm not in your business, so I don't take those people on as clients, right? But I just love going there. And if I had a financial advisor that I could drag along with me who also played guitar, I'd do it. And that person would get a lot of business. Okay, build a marketing process. Same thing. I don't know if he's still on the call, but one of my one of the advisors I've been working with for quite a while sent me a thing this week. Fantastic. It was this whole AI process on building out like 52 weeks of marketing content. Fantastic. So all of it was around knowing your problems, like knowing your niche. If you could answer the questions on that email that he sent me, and you could, if you had a niche, you could generate content in no time, targeted right at that niche. Now, some of you have to go through compliance. I understand all those things. Maybe you can send things out, maybe you can't. Okay, but for those of you who can, what a fantastic way to target market based on the people that you really have elected or you're really electing to work with. Okay, so the gap. I see this over and over again. The fact that I'm telling you this stuff doesn't mean you're going to do anything with it. And it's not your fault. Like, I work with advisors all day long. I know how overwhelmed most, if not many, if not most of them are. Okay, I know that there's phones ringing, there's clients demanding things, there's clients asking for meetings, there's clients who are retiring that need attention, clients who just went through some critical life event who need attention, right? And it's constantly pressing, and they all have different needs and different problems, okay? So part of the advantage of having a mastermind group and being in a mastermind group is transformation, okay? There's accountability, there's peer support, there's information that I'm bringing based on 10 years of experience working with advisors, successful advisors. So the whole idea of this mastermind group is to help you overcome your, I don't know if I want to call it lack of momentum or momentum, all right? I want to stop the trajectory you're on, and I want to do a pattern interrupt, okay? I just want to change it. Now, I know I can't do that overnight, okay? But I know I can do it, and I know you can do it, okay? So if there's a desire to change what's happening now and get into a niche and dominate that niche and have systems and processes that help you to execute in that niche without your needing to be there all the time, okay, then I would consider this mastermind group. Okay, a little bit more about it. We meet every 4 weeks for about an hour and a half. I also have a private group chat that I set up, so if you have questions, it's on WhatsApp. WhatsApp, you can just text your question in, and either I'll answer it or hopefully somebody else will answer it. Do monthly office hours so that people can come in and do some independent of the mastermind group coaching. You also get access to Pareto Systems Total Client Engagement. They basically charge for that what we're charging for the mastermind. So if you were to just do self-study with Total Client Engagement, you'd be paying basically the same money. Okay, our focus, we've already talked about it: specialization, marketing, process, and business growth. The outcome, if you follow this process, you'll know what your niche is, you'll love working in it, and you'll dominate it. You'll have repeatable systems. And if you're interested, you'll move to a self-managing practice. And by that, what I mean is you do what you want in the business. I know from having worked with advisors over the years that you're oftentimes wearing many, many hats, and not happily. Okay. So it's possible other advisors have done it. I know you can do it if you work at it. You can build a practice where you do the things you love doing, and somebody else does the things that need to be done that are important, but they don't need you to be doing that. Okay. Content for those who are interested. These are some of the things we talk about in the first 6 months. The power of specialization. Like why is it so important to be in a niche? And we're going to drill down on that. Finding the sweet spot. Okay, what is your niche? What's really appealing to you? Validating the niche. Okay, you can read these things. I'm not going to read them to you. I just want you to see that these are the things that we work on in the first 6 months, all right, to really get you ramped up, get you started so that you can start to see results as soon as possible. Okay, if you're interested in this, you like the idea of working and dominating a niche, this might be for you. If you're struggling to attract consistent new client flow, or even if it's just random, many of the advisors, like I said, I work with, they don't have a clue where the next piece of business is coming from, the next person is coming from. If you're in a niche, you have a much better visibility on this. Okay, if you don't like wasting money on marketing, you can't tie marketing to results. Again, same thing. If you're in a niche, we can show you how to market much more targeted, much more efficiently, much more effective with your ad dollars. And you want to scale. Okay, so advisors who go into niches oftentimes are like, you know what, love to spend more time with my family, love to travel more, love to read books more, love to do anything, love to play the guitar more, whatever it is, okay? If you want to scale, this is a fantastic way to do it. Okay, the program starts in mid-November on the 13th. All the sessions are recorded and transcribed. I'm charging $4.99 a month per advisor. In the next 2 weeks, if you want to save $50 a month, you can. Just by point of comparison, when I do private coaching, which is what I mostly do, I charge at least $1,500 a month per advisor. And then when you think about what this is worth to you, just think about in your head, how many clients at $1 million do you have to pick up in order to pay for something like this? Not too many. In fact, probably not even one. Okay, so I can just tell you based on my experience that people who are in niches picking up $1 million clients more than once. Okay, I put this up here. Oftentimes I have one of my clients on who will talk about their success in a niche. The person I normally have on couldn't do it today. So here's a couple of things. You can see more. I have, if you go to ParetoMastermind.com, a lot of the advisors I've worked with have been kind enough to write testimonials. Tons of testimonials. Not bragging, because I don't do the work. I have the information, but the advisors have to do the work, and I'm there to help them stay accountable, stay on track, stay focused, and achieve the kind of things that they want to do. So when I get this kind of a testimonial, I love it, but it's with the recognition that the advisors have taken the information and done something with it. They've executed, and that's when they're going to see the results. Okay, I'm going to put this. I'm going to try and put this into the chat, but I'm going to just stop talking now, and I'm going to throw it open for questions. I think you can. Nobody's muted unless you muted yourself. So if you want to ask any questions, either unmute yourself or go into the chat box and let me know.
Scott, would you mind flashing the screen again that talks about the first 6 months?
Yeah. How you doing, David?
Great, thanks.
I'm trying to not trying to find it. Let's see here. Let's stop sharing. Chat. Okay, I put the Calendly link in, and let's see what we got for questions over in the chat also. How do I convince a colleague that being a generalist doesn't allow you to grow as quickly as focusing on one or two niches? You know, my initial reaction is the old phrase, like you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. Um, but I would look around and see maybe you're in a niche. Who is this, Ken? Maybe you're in a niche, maybe you're successful with it. Maybe you know somebody else who's in a niche that's successful with it, and you could get together and have coffee or lunch. If you need somebody, you could have a phone call with somebody that I work with, probably. I could probably set that up and you could talk to them. So I don't know if that's helpful or not. But the thing is you're either a generalist or you're in a niche. And if you want, the other thing you could do is just say, go on to ChatGPT or something and say, what's the advantage of having one niche as opposed to having two or three? And you'll probably get more information than you want to. Okay, and anybody who wants the worksheet, if you could shoot me an email, okay? I'll or you can reply to the email that you. Actually, you know what? I'm going to send the worksheet out to everybody who's on the call. That'll solve that problem. I'm curious to hear your take on going with a specialist niche and growing a practice that way versus buying a book of business for growth. Buying a business seems everything nowadays, about 75 to 1 ratio. Yeah. So if buying a business is an option for you, I think it's a great idea. I have I have one mastermind group that's just made up of people who are buying books. And they got together to compare notes about how to source business, how to find business, how to win business, how to structure the deals. That's a very successful group. By the way, which also has an opening. So if anybody is interested in that, joining a mastermind group based on M&A, let me know. That might be something for you. Okay, but here's the thing. There's a lot of problems with buying businesses. It's very competitive. And a lot of people who are in this world will tell you that you got to kiss a lot of frogs in order to find a business that's good and priced reasonably. I mean, the private equity money that's chasing these businesses right now is just absurd. And it's not just private equity money. Some of the broker dealers are paying what I would consider to be pretty outlandish prices, but they're still paying them. So the average advisor is going to be, it's a very competitive landscape. I'm not against it. I'm totally in favor of it. If you can pull it off, awesome. The people I'm working with seem to be having some success. But again, there's a lot of challenges in that one too. Okay, David, let me share this screen. Should have done that sooner. Okay, can you see that?
Looks great, thanks.
I'm guessing you can. Okay. Good. All right, I guess I'm going to take it off the share because I can't see chat. Any other questions? Yeah, I don't think I'm missing any questions. Anybody have any other questions that they're interested in asking about being in a niche or look at all these recorders. Wow, this is interesting. Must be 7 recorders, including mine. Okay, anybody else have any questions about being in a niche, how to market it, any of the things we've talked about, joining the group? Otherwise, I'm going to sign off. And
Scott, just a quick question.
Yes, hi, Mike.
Just could you go into a little more detail about some of the systems and kind of systems, materials, and kind of I don't know if there's generic presentations or just material that is included in the group.
Yeah, so there'll be it's like a two-pronged approach here. So for people who are in the group, you have access to Pareto Systems, and Pareto Systems is like a turnkey operation system for financial advisors. Okay, it's not necessarily niche targeted, but it has just a wealth of processes for financial advisors. So I'll give you some examples. It talks about who's your ideal client, which in a lot of ways ties right in with niche. It talks about communicating with clients. Actually, I'm skipped over client classification. Client classification, critical. Looking at your existing book of business. Where are your strengths? Where are your weaknesses? It may help you identify niches, but it will definitely help you figure out who's paying you money and who isn't, and get you starting to think about how do you reorganize your business so you're spending more time with those people who are paying you money and less time with those people who are not, if you even decide to continue to serve them. We get into how to serve clients, like what are the options for serving clients, and that's both technical and relational. We get into then messaging. So how do you build a value proposition? How do you get your clients to start adopting your messaging? How do you demonstrate what your process is, what your repeatable process is? How do you name that process so that you start to make it real in the ideas of your clients, in the minds of your clients and in prospects? So tons of processes. Pareto Systems is really well built out. A lot of videos that explain how to do things, or a lot of scripting examples on how to deliver these messages, a lot of template worksheets and communication pieces, letters, and so forth. And in fact, there's a whole process manual, sample process manual in the system. That's everything, soup to nuts, from like, now again, you're all at different, you're all in different positions with maybe different broker dealers, different RIAs, different hybrids, whatever you're in, right? So you obviously need to adapt the playbook for your particular situation, but everything that you need to operate your business is outlined in processes and procedures in the playbook. So again, you have to adopt them for yours, and this is both operational, so in other words, back office, account opening stuff, making sure that all of that is documented and repeatable, and all the way up to, how do you deal with new clients and how do you deal with existing clients, like processes for everything. My goal then is to take those and make sure that they're applicable to the niche that you pick. So that's why it's two prongs, right? One is like, here's the base template, and then how do we make this so that it's functional for the niche that you're in? That
Great.
make sense?
Yeah, no, great. Thank you.
You bet. Will the slides in the recording be emailed to you? Yes, it will be. Yes. Okay. That may be it, unless I missed, I can't see if I missed a question here. It doesn't look like it, but that may be it, unless anybody else has a question.
Hey, Scott, when it comes to marketing, I think I don't have a lot of experience. Many advisors probably don't, in terms of how much it costs, how long it takes. This seems a bit sequential. Like, let's answer these questions as you're proposing in the mastermind group first, get honed in on our niche. But then, like, at what point do we start that whole marketing engine? And do you have any feedback as to what kind of investment that would be down the road?
Yeah. So I have two thoughts on that. Okay. Because so I know where you're at, David. And so, I don't know what kind of limitations there are in terms of marketing with a big firm like yours. I know there's substantial. But I do work with some advisors in niches at your firm who are doing some marketing. It's a little bit like guerrilla marketing. And it's pretty cool how it's happening, but I think there's some opportunities. Okay, for those of you who can actually pay for marketing, there are really two components here. One is the creation, and the other is the delivery. Okay, so on the creation side, there are firms that work with advisors to create targeted messages. Okay, I personally work with one who markets for me, who markets Pareto Masterminds, that I think is really good. They work with a number of my clients. It's basically pay per hour. They have a package, I guess is what I call it, which is what I have. I think it's $15,000, $1,500 a month, And I think I get 10 or 12 hours a month for that of their marketing people. So they're running my LinkedIn campaign, they run my Copilot campaign, they run all the emailing for these webinars, they organize the web. I mean, they pretty much do all that stuff for me for that. When they do this for an advisor, it's the same thing. Like they're marketing for a divorce niche advisor that I work with. And by the way, I have a divorce group mastermind going. That's why I keep talking about divorce. It's a fantastic niche if you're interested in it. Um, if you're not, that's fine. I started my legal career in the divorce world and realized right away that it wasn't a niche I wanted to be in, and I got out of it. But it can be a really good niche to be in. So this company's marketing for him. I think he's paying more because he wants more. He's paying like $2,500 a month. And they're running, again, same thing. They're running his Facebook ads. They run his, he runs a direct mail campaign. He runs a strong email campaign. So he's got, in his niche, he's teamed up with therapists, with mediators, with, of course, with divorce attorneys, but he's found some of these other areas to be really fruitful, including Facebook ads. They're doing ads in Facebook groups that are primarily targeted towards women who are at an age where divorce often happens. Not that he's wishing divorce on anybody, but if it's going to happen, he wants to be the advisor who helps them. He has to pay for the Facebook ads, just like I have to pay for my LinkedIn ads and the Facebook ads that I use. LinkedIn ads are more expensive than Facebook. Facebook is pretty affordable. LinkedIn has I mean, it's not terrible, but I think they start with like a $200 or $300 minimum for each ad that you do. So, if you're marketing to professionals, that's a great idea. If you're marketing to people who are on LinkedIn, it can be very good. Is that helpful, David?
Yeah. Thanks for the frame of reference.
Yeah. I do have one group that's paying like $110,000 for a marketing program. I don't think they're going to do it again. Great. I'm not trying to wrap up here. If people have questions, I'm more than happy to do it. But if we don't have any more questions, I don't really have anything else to say.
Hey, Scott.
Yeah.
I had a quick question. I think you maybe had one other thing that you were going to add to David's question about, I think you said creation and then there was something else, but
yes.
Maybe you did cover it. And then the other thing was, as far as, so that's kind of the cost and maybe the sources that help, but what about expected timeline? I'm sure it depends on the niche, and I know you need to stick with something to, see it come to fruition or see results. So for your average advisor, you've seen 6 months, a year and a half, 2 years, kind of when could one expect to see some results?
I would say you should start to see results in 6 months. I mean, I can't promise that. But if you work, and this isn't pointed at you, this is just in general. I always go back to my grandfather, right? Who used to, when I was flunking out of college, and I did flunk out of college, he said, "You get out of life what you put into it." And, it was a message I wasn't quite ready to hear. But after some behavior modification from my dad, I did take that message more seriously, and I've tried to live by it now. And so the same thing is true here. Like, marketing is good. It's not the only thing though, right? We have to make sure that there are allies, identifiable allies, okay, that we can work with and let know that we're in this business. If you already have clients who are in a niche, even better. Like, so it's going to be different for everybody. Some people already, like I said, this guy with the Taco Tuesday, I mean, he started picking up business right away. Okay, now he wasn't necessarily committed to working with the high net worth people. He was okay if somebody had $500,000 or 600,000, and was on their way up in the company or was on their way up in their career. he was totally fine with that. He wanted younger people, didn't really want to work with retirees. So this was perfect for him, right? But he started getting business right away. The sales guy was like, yeah, I'll bring my whole team down. We'll have tacos. He says, can you afford enough tacos for all those people? And he's like, just bring them down, you know? He actually switched to after work because he didn't want to give them like drinks at lunch. He switched the meetings to after work and started providing beer and it just and wine or whatever, and attendance was ridiculous. But he didn't care. So, anyways, short answer is I don't think I can tell you exactly, but if you're dedicated and you work it, you should get results, right? Reasonably quickly. And as far as David's saying, two things: creation and distribution is what I was saying. So creation is like, what are we going to send? What's the message? And distribution is how we're going to deliver that message. So if you have like a great email list, you know, fantastic. Email marketing is still solid. Direct mail marketing is actually getting to be more popular because people don't get mail. I don't know about you, but I either get invitations to go to dinner at some financial advisor seminar or I get lawn care here in Florida as my main mail stuff. So if I get something different, it's interesting. So distribution, right? Whether it's going to be on Facebook, LinkedIn, where is your audience? That's what we have to figure out. Where's your audience? That's what determines distribution. Make sense?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. No, thank you. Thanks for the questions. Ken Siegel says his wife runs a full service ad agency, is helping him with marketing and can help others. She's happy to help and provides initial complimentary consultations. That's awesome. Okay. And you put the Calendly link in. Awesome. Good. Thank you. Yeah, I think there are good people in this business. And I don't know what the capabilities are. I know one of the biggest groups is that does marketing is FMG for advisors. And I don't know how targeted they can get, but I do know how generic they can get, and they can get very generic. So like when I see advisors I'm working with who are working with them, we have a conversation. Sometimes they switch. Okay, I've got to sign off. I planned on being on for 50 minutes, so I've got to sign off. Again, love to talk to anybody more. If you're interested, use the Calendly link. Well, if you're interested in marketing, use the Calendly link that Ken put up. If you're interested in Mastermind, use my Calendly link, and be happy to spend a few minutes with you to talk about it. Thank you, Chuck. Thanks everybody who joined. We'll send a link to the recording and the worksheet ASAP. Oh, one new. What's this? I don't know what that is. Somebody's link. Okay, good. Thank you all. Have a great day and hope to talk to you soon.